What if everything you struggled against never truly existed? What if the chains you tried to break were only imagined? What if the seeker of freedom was the only thing that was ever in bondage? Ashtavakra looked at King Janaka and declared something that shattered the entire spiritual journey in one stroke. You are never bound. Not, you will be free. Not, you can become free. Not even, you are becoming free. You were never bound. Ashtavakra said this because he was not speaking to the personality of Janaka. He was not speaking to the king, the body, the mind, or the seeker. He was speaking to awareness itself. Janaka asked, "If I was never bound, why did I suffer? Why did I feel trapped by desires, fears, and responsibilities? Why did the world weigh on me?" Ashtavakra dismantled the assumption hidden inside that question. Who was suffering? Desire arose, and it was known. Fear arose, and it was known. Confusion arose, and it was known. But that which knew them, did it tremble? Did it change shape? Did it become heavier? Ashtavakra's radical clarity was this: bondage belonged only to identification. The moment awareness said, "I am this body," limitation appeared. The moment it said, "I am this mind," struggle began. The moment it said, "I am the door," karma was born. But these were thoughts, and thoughts were witnessed. Janaka pressed further. The experience of bondage felt real. The pain felt real. The longing felt real. Are you saying it was illusion? Ashtavakra did not dismiss experience. He exposed misidentification. He did not say pain did not arise. He said the self was never inside the pain. He did not say the mind did not struggle. He said you were not the mind. Bondage was not an objective condition. It was a conclusion drawn by thought. You assumed, "I am incomplete." You assumed, "I must attain liberation." You assumed, "I am on a path." Ashtavakra looked at Janaka and saw the absurdity. How could the infinite be on a journey toward itself? How could awareness be trapped inside its own appearance? Clouds gathered, but the sky was never imprisoned by them. Waves rose, but the ocean was never chained by their movement. Janaka objected, "If I was never bound, why did scriptures speak of liberation? Why practice? Why effort?" Ashtavakra became even more uncompromising. Practice was prescribed only for the one who believed he was bound. Effort was medicine for an imagined disease. Liberation was a concept created to dissolve the belief in captivity. Once it was seen that the self was never entangled, even liberation collapsed. This was why Ashtavakra's teaching was so direct. He did not build a gradual ladder. He removed the ground beneath the seeker. He told Janaka, "You are pure awareness, untouched, unattached, unchanging." The body moved, the mind fluctuated, the world appeared and disappeared, but you remained. Janaka fell silent there. Because if this was true, then the entire narrative of my bondage dissolved. Look now. Before the next thought formed, you were not bound. Without referring to memory, without imagining the future, awareness was never confined. There was no edge to it. There were no chains. There were no limits. Ashtavakra was not offering comfort. He was removing illusion. Bondage was the belief, "I am this limited entity." A freedom was the recognition, "I am the witnessing presence in which limitation appears." and that presence was never altered by what it witnessed. This was why he said to Janaka, "You were never bound, not in ignorance, not in seeking, not even in confusion." The self did not move from ignorance to knowledge. Only the mind did. The self did not move from bondage to liberation. Only belief did. What you truly were remained unchanged through every experience you ever had. So the question was no longer, "How do I become free?" The question became, "Who assumed I was bound?" Sit with that. If the one who was bound was only an idea, what remained? Not achievement, not attainment, not transformation, recognition. And in that recognition, the seeker fell away. Ashtavakra's teaching was not about becoming extraordinary. It was about discovering that the ordinary awareness in which these words were heard had never been chained. You were never bound, and nothing needed to happen for that to be true.